Growing up, I was a theater kid. I know, but I'm reformed now. I've since kicked the habit and have grown so much as a person in the past. Son of a bitch, who am I kidding?
Alright then. Looks like you could use some help.
Hazbin Hotel is the answer to the question that everybody has asked at one point or another. What would a Broadway play look like if we let the actors write what they wanted to perform, gave it an 18+ rating, and then what if we animated it? Starting out for this video, I do want to lay some ground rules.
Rule number 1. I will be addressing some of the controversy around both this show and Vivzy Pop in general at the end of the video. Rule number 2. I know this community can be interesting at times, but we will only be looking at the show from an objective standpoint and its writing. Rule number 3. I never follow all of my rules, least of all this one.
Hazbin Hotel has finally been released 4 years after its pilot landed on YouTube. Since then, it was picked up by A24 as their first animated project and by Amazon to be released on their streaming service. With the higher budget, the original cast was replaced with Broadway talent, and the budget per episode skyrocketed, which was met with some understandable backlash and is a bit of a catch-22. The pilot episode featured actors who could sing, but not on a Broadway level, as well as the songs being written to be more auto-tuned and pop-focused. It worked well for the pilot, but in the full show, all of the songs are big-budget Broadway numbers that I don't think would have suited the original cast. The best analogy I can think of is, sure, Zac Efron can sing, but I wouldn't put him on Broadway. Yes, it sucks for the original voice actors, but I also understand why they wanted to hire professional Broadway actors as well. Especially considering how Mean Girls is turning out. Basically, replacing pilot actors is a shitty, commonplace part of the industry that does have its reasons. And I think that both casts did an excellent job with what they were written. Speaking of working with what was written for them,
That's a segue, folks.
the show's writing is admittedly a mixed bag. Some story beats land perfectly, while others feel extremely rushed due to the 8-episode season structure, which, why is 8 episodes the new season size? It just feels so limiting, and it's weird that we've just decided that 8 is the number. Anyway, when you need to get across a lot of information to your audience, what is the most effective way of doing so? Through song, of course! Yes, that is a joke, but also it's not. Music has a way of touching the human spirit unlike any other storytelling medium, and is a big reason as to why I love musical theater. I can think of maybe one song that didn't land for me in the entire season, and that's impressive considering that there's 16 songs, which is 2 per episode. That's impressive. Every musical number condenses down a story arc or beat for the characters involved and allows the show to cover a wide array of topics without cheapening the impact of their stories. I want to look at 3 songs in particular that really exemplify not only being amazing songs, but propelling the plot and characters along in interesting or unexpected ways. And trust me, narrowing it down to just 3 killed me inside, but this video has to have an end at some point. Kicking off in episode 1, we have an opening overture that sets the stage wonderfully. A full-blown Broadway opening setting the comically dark tone of the show. Happy Day in Hell is just damn perfect. Setting Charlie's bright-eyed optimism against a backdrop of, oh, I don't know, literal hell, is just so damn funny. And immediately after, we get one of the best villain introduction songs that I've heard in a long time. While Charlie's song is more akin to something like Wicked, Hell is Forever introduces us to Adam, you know, the first man, the broiest bro that ever broed, and his opening song is straight out of Beetlejuice, which makes sense considering that the actor who played Beetlejuice also plays Adam. Anyway, the setup is that Charlie is excitedly telling Adam her plan to rehabilitate sinners to get them into heaven to avoid the problem of extermination, singing a sped-up, messy reprise of Happy Day in Hell that she was just singing. Adam cuts her off to sing over her, and the music and lyrics just give you a perfect summary of his character. He's a high school jock bully. He's chauvinistic, full of himself, arrogant, self-righteous, which immediately should be setting off alarm bells. He's the first angel we see in the show, and the juxtaposition between him and Charlie is clearly intentional, showing us as the audience that it's not quite as cut and dry as angels are good, demons are bad. Adam laughs at her and her ideas, telling her that the rules are black and white, cut and dry, that fair is fair and an eye for an eye. During the song, Charlie keeps trying to provide counter-arguments, but Adam just keeps steamrolling ahead and ignoring her. The entire song shows us how prejudiced the angels are and how they view demons as below them both literally and figuratively. The camera is always framed looking up at Adam and down at Charlie while he's constantly pushing her back into a corner. At the end of the song, Adam breaks the hologram illusion and grabs her arm, flinging her out of the room, hinting at how powerful he actually is, closing the door on Charlie's dreams while ignoring her pleas and continuing on in his sick guitar solo. It's just a flawless introduction to our main antagonist of season 1, making you both laugh and despise him at the same time. It shows us all that we need to know about Adam, the angel's attitude towards the extermination, deeming it as entertainment, and the contempt the angels show to the demons. Not only that, but most of the lyrics are actually setups for You Didn't Know. Specifically, the rules are black and white, and fair is fair, eye for an eye. Charlie confronts the angels about what does it take to get into heaven, and nobody knows the answer. When a demon shows all of the qualities of an angel and he isn't granted passage, it proves that fair is fair only applies to the angels. Also, the joke about Adam eating ribs, unmatched. If Vivzie and her crew know anything, it's writing complicated family dynamics that avoid played out tropes. Specifically, complicated father-daughter relationships. From episode 1, we see that Charlie has an estranged relationship with her dad. We get hints and clues about the powerful Lucifer, king of hell. And then when we are finally introduced to him, he's a short little goofy guy making rubber ducks that gets overly excited that his daughter is calling him. And it's the best introduction we could have possibly had. Lucifer's introduction is almost the exact opposite of Adam. He's unassuming, charming, and relatable. He has a tenor voice instead of the stereotypical deep, booming, commanding voice. And the man is trying to beat divorced dad depression by making rubber duckies. He's so excited to be invited back into Charlie's life, only to see that she has the same dream that he once did, and he becomes frightened for her. More than anything kicks off with Lucifer throwing his power to the floor and Charlie bending down to shelter it. And then he picks her up, telling her that he can't lose everything again. He can't lose her again. In his mind, he's literally watching the angels surrounding her, and he pulls her out of that danger. Charlie tells him how much of an impact he had on her life, how he inspired her to dream of a better life. And when he looks at her again, we see the pride in his eyes as he sees not a frightened child, but the confident woman she's grown to be. They truly see each other and reconnect as father-daughter, and taking off into the skies, he tells her he'll support her no matter what happens. An entire arc of growth in just one song. Lucifer was never cruel to Charlie, never ignored her or saw her as a burden. He removed himself from her life after Lilith took her away, believing that it was the right thing for him to do. First, he reacts out of instinct to protect his little girl, and then he realizes that's no longer his role. He grows into a position of supporting her dreams, helping her achieve what he could not. And everything about this song, from the small voice crack in the falsetto of Shelter and Adore You, how all of the Hazbin gang look on in different emotions as Charlie sings about her dream, Husk watching in disinterest, Angel in silent shock, Serpentius is already a complete mess, Vaggie with love, Alistair with a genuine smile, one of the first he's shown so far, and Nifty, she's there too. Her saying it took him a while and his only response being, "I missed that smile." Or when they sing together, he lets her take the harmony and provides vocal backing and support for her, as a musical way of showing he's passing on the baton to the next generation. Or how they harmonize on the "I'm so grateful you're my daughter, I'm so grateful you're my father" line. I was reduced to a blubbering mess at the end of the song, and I can't stop re-listening to it and picking out little details here and there.
Yeah, I know it's poison, you're feeding me poison.
When I first heard this song, it was a part of the pre-release in the lyric video, and I didn't like it that much. It was glossy, oversaturated, overproduced pop that, sure, I could see it fitting the character, but it just wasn't my favorite. And then that outro, and I knew something was up. And then episode 4 dropped. Angel Dust has always been a fan favorite character since the pilot aired. Crass, quick-witted, and always ready with a "that's what she said" joke, claiming he's only crashing at the hotel because it's free rent. But even since the pilot, you can tell that there's something more going on. In episode 4, we finally get a look into why Angel is so broken and what's been going on. He's not an SW by choice. He fell in love with Valentino and then was manipulated and used by him, signing his soul away into a contract with Val. Poison is the breaking point. After Charlie tries to interfere and help Angel, it only makes things worse for him, and he's forced into a long session of shooting, which the song montages. He's never allowed to catch his breath or even walk on his own. Val controls the flow, yanking him to the ground or throwing him to where he needs to be. He has no control over the situation or anything that's happening to him. The lyrics of the song talk about how he knows he'll most likely die from the abuse, but he also acknowledges the part that he played in his own downfall. The song is set up with a slick, catchy, poppy beat, and while Angel sings it with enthusiasm, visually we see the opposite. We see him breaking and the reality of the situation sinking in, but he disassociates and disappears every time he's about to break. And then we come to the outro. Before the song, we find out that Angel Dust's name is actually Anthony and was changed by Val. And while the main song is sung by Angel, the outro is sung by Anthony. The mask is gone. There is no more acting, no more lies, no more faking it, and it's brutal. Collapsing on the balcony before blacking out. The song incorporates all of Angel's tendencies to deflect by using innuendos, but this time, the innuendos serve as another reminder that Angel's jokes are just another way he deflects and copes with his situation. Episode 4 has had some mixed reception online, saying that it's inappropriate to address such a serious subject matter, that the show didn't treat the issues of SA and SW seriously enough. However, people who are survivors and SWs have stepped forward to say that they have never felt more seen or understood before. Personally, I think the episode is one of the best written ones of the season. It handles the subject matter with a deftness and respect while also not demonizing those who may relate to the story. Now, yes, a lot of people online have argued over which Angel Dust song is better, but personally, I like both. Addict felt like the beginning of the realization of what was happening, and Poison feels like the logical breaking point of the character. So much information is conveyed to the audience over the course of the song, and it's a roller coaster of emotions and revelations. After it's done, it leaves you with this hollow ringing in your soul. Hazbin Hotel is the animated Broadway play that I never knew I needed, and it uses songs and musical numbers masterfully to create a wonderful story full of memorable characters. The show covers so many things and moves so quickly that I don't think there was any other way to do this show other than with musical numbers. And sure, I have criticisms for the show. The pacing is rough, to be polite, especially during the final few episodes where it's erratic at best and downright whiplash at its worst. I love the characters, but the shape language is very samey. And I know this is just Vivzi's style, but every character is a thin, lanky character with exaggerated limbs. Even Sir Pentious, who reads the same way unless his hood is flared out, which is not too common. Some variety in the character, body shapes, and language would be nice, but as it stands, they're fine. But I mean, other than those two complaints, Yeah, I got nothing. I loved every moment of season 1, and a massive part of that is the music. Okay, I said I would address it, and here it is. There are two groups of people who are calling for the boycotting of this show. One is religious extremists, and those who have been following the drama surrounding Vivzy Pop and Spindlehorse Studios. As for the first, that's just people drumming up fake outrage to get attention. As for the latter, this is all I'll say. There were some ex-employees that came forward to talk about unfair pay and working conditions while working underneath Spindlehorse, as well as derogatory claims about Vivian herself. Since those claims, many people, both from within Spindlehorse and people that have since left the company, have come forward to say the exact opposite. The only screenshot evidence is a friendship falling apart that should never have been made public, and the pay rates that have surfaced are actually above industry standard. I will not say that any of these events did or did not happen. What I will say is right now, these claims feel off. My gut intuition is telling me to wait for more evidence to come forward to corroborate these claims, because as of right now, it feels like clout hunting, and people have gone crazy on the bandwagoning without further research of their own. I would encourage you to do your own research. Don't just listen to me. Come to your own conclusions on the matter, and be careful of tabloid and YouTube drama. If you are concerned about being judged for watching a show due to a controversy, in my opinion, there is nothing substantial enough to warrant a boycott of the show. As far as I can find, Hazbin Hotel is the first animated project that started as a YouTube pilot and then was picked up and made into a fully produced show. Sure, there have been some failed past experiments with making YouTuber movies, but this is something entirely else. It is one of the few shows that both delivered on its original promise and in many ways exceeded expectations. There were so many times while watching this that I was just jaw open staring at the screen exclaiming, "How is this so good?" And after sitting with it for a while, the reason I keep coming back to is the music. It tells us so much about the characters, allows the writers to cover so much ground in just one season, juggle a massive cast, and bring satisfying growth and conclusions to many of those story arcs. We get insights into the characters not just by what they're singing, but the style of the song and the performance behind the lyrics. From Alistair singing almost exclusively in ragtime, until his demon form comes out and starts shifting the tone into full menace. Adam singing in full rock opera, complete with his own commentary midway through the song about how awesome he is. Or Angel singing glitzy, saturated pop in a Broadway play as an act, and it devolves into a different singing voice for the rest of the songs once he opens up. So much love and passion went into this project, and I loved every single minute of it. And I just wanted to make a video to appreciate the show and the work that Andrew Underberg did on the music and making this show something truly special. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel, and if you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe and stick around on the channel, but just be aware that my upload schedule is basically non-existent at this point. So in the meantime, go watch other content. The internet is full of it. Or you could watch more stuff from me. Or you could catch me on Twitch, where I play games and read books. And maybe even play web games of Commander. I'm still trying to figure that one out. If you want to support the channel, you can give me money by clicking on the Patreon for early access to videos. Or you could just like, comment, and subscribe to do all the algorithm things to appease the YouTube AI overlords. Also, there's a community Discord that is linked below to where we do watch parties, movie and game discussions, and whatever else not. But yeah, that's all for me. Bye.